Hello my friends, and welcome to this pick a card reading where we'll be looking at what are you leaving behind, what are you walking away from. So I've used the Eight of Cups to signify this transition. I've also pre-picked a card from the Fairy Tale Oracle, which will give us an idea about the programming that you're leaving, the patterning that you're leaving. This is about transitioning to a new phase. So what are you walking away from? What are you leaving behind? Pile 1, which is the Mystic Mondays Tarot. Pile 2, which is the Pulp Tarot. And Pile 3 is the Tarot of the Holy Spectrum. Pile 1, Pile 2, Pile 3. Timestamps will be in the description box below. And I'll see you at your reading. Bye. Hello, my friends, and welcome to your pile 1. Right, so this Eight of Cups here is about diving into something deeper, it looks like. Leaving behind what is known, but then kind of going into something that may require more attention, more depth of character, something that's going to take your understanding of yourself into a deeper perspective. 2023 is going to involve that, I think, for you. It's almost like you're leaving something quite stable behind as well, something that you know. You're plunging into the unknown. You have no idea about what's going to happen when you take this next step forward, when you dive into this space. But you know you need to do it. Interesting. And you almost have to prepare yourself for it, like you've got your hair tied up. You don't have to be a woman specifically, but you know, with your hair kind of down and free and flowing, there's a kind of sense of transition. When it's up, it's like, right, I'm gonna go and do some work. You know, there's something that's quite indicative of you taking a plunge, quite literally. It's like she's gonna get into this pool, isn't it? So this is a plunge into something that is unknown. Let's see what your card is. Okay, Rapunzel, liberation. Wow. Okay. So the idea of like Rapunzel being in the tower, kept up. Her hair was beautiful and long, but it was almost like her own demise in that respect. I'm being guided to look into the book. I'm just going to have a quick look, but personally I'm feeling that, you know, the idea of she was kept in this tower, in this gilded tower, which is interesting what I said, like here with this stability that was there. And now to really understand herself, she needs to come out of the tower. She needs to be liberated from this. She needs to be she needs to experience something that's so foreign from her own surroundings that she will grow, because otherwise she doesn't grow. And what I'm noticing here, and I have grey hair, so I'm not like, you know, I'm not dissing grey hair, but she's got a young face in her. She's grey, yeah. And that's me. I'm not like dissing that at all. But in the respect of that, what I'm thinking is that she's been kept up in this tower. It's almost like that the surroundings around her have caused the external to kind of grow old. But whereas like there's still this youthfulness that's within her that is needing to kind of explore into the unknown, because there's still more. And it's interesting how we've got something around the hair as well. So something's tied up here, and then we also have this connection with this grey hair. So what I'm getting is that you're kind of taking all of the knowledge that you've had before in your life, and now you're taking a step into something completely new. So, and I also get that with the face of her, which looks very young, and then also her body, which is naked here. So there's a sense of vulnerability that has to be approached in this situation, even though you may be, you know, you might not be young, you might be of an older age, you might be, you know, you might be in yeah, you might be older, but it seems like you're stepping into something new. It seems like you are stepping into something, like you are a child, like you have that sense of vulnerability and innocence that is there. I'm just going to double check the book to see if there's any other notes to add on to that. So what's really interesting about this is the freeing yourself from the confines that you've created for yourself. And it's almost like here with this Eight of Cups, it's, you know, you've created this really nice, safe, stable environment where you're like, this is what I've done. Now I need to move on. I need to do something different. And it's really important that you do something different, because it has to break old patterns that have come into play. Let me have a look at what these cards say. So it's almost like you're bringing something, you're making something conscious. It's like, I feel that almost it was something that was unconscious, or more likely subconscious. You maybe didn't say it. You didn't think about it, but you knew that it was something that was there. You knew that it was something that you had to confront, that you had to move away from, that you had to change. A mindset, a way of thinking, some kind of patterning that you have to move away from in order to change your life in a productive way. And there's almost like a way that you have to do this, because if you don't, then you will regret it. And not only that, like what I see is that you will stay stagnant, and you will also get older within a space. Like before you know it, it will be like a year, 2 years, 3 years. Do you know what I mean? Like it just kind of like time just gets faster and faster, as we know when we get older. You know, when we're younger, we feel like we've got all the time in the world, and then before you know it, you're of a certain age and you're just like, wow, where did all that go? And what have I done with my life? Or what have I done? You know, I said I was going to do all of these projects and I haven't done them, or I said that I really wanted to do this, and, you know, where did I decide where I was wanting to be? So in respect to that, if you're in a space where you can't move out of this, but you know that you have to, you're kind of sitting on this precipice, on this edge, what I would say is that best thing to do is to write up a plan. Write up a plan where you do how you would like to see yourself in 10 years, how you would like to see yourself in 5 years, how you would like to see yourself in 3 years, and then 1 year. So 10, 5, 3, and 1. And then once you kind of get yourself in that kind of, you start to see that kind of perspective, then you can bring the unconscious into consciousness. You can make it a conscious reality. I've just realized I really want to pull another card for you, but I haven't got this deck out, so I'm just going to get that deck. I'm quite ad hoc in my readings. I try and just go with the flow in the respect of what kind of comes to me. And because you're pile 1, I'm afraid you're the guinea pig pile. So I'm like, oh no, actually this would be quite nice. And this, I thought this was going to be a quick reading, but I don't think it will be, because it's deep. It's deep. So pile 1, can I have a card for pile 1, please, dear Spirit? Pile 1, what is pile 1 leaving behind? What is pile 1 leaving behind? I just want one card. Can I have one card, please, dear Spirit? What is pile 1 leaving behind? Oh, it keeps on. The heart and the threshold. Well, that's exactly what I thought. Because as soon as I saw that card, I saw this one. And you've got no choice but to follow your heart. Your heart is almost like very stable for you. So we've got 31 there, which is 3 X's and 1. And then, oh God, here we go. Right, threshold is XLV. I think that's... What is it? I thought I could work it out. I forget. Hold on, the threshold. The threshold is 153. 153. Okay. No, it's not. It's 45. Interesting. Okay, yeah, 45. Yeah, because it's... Okay. Sorry, the X comes before like 50. So L is 50 and the X is like always comes before it and then 5. So yeah. Okay, so 45. 9. So we're just about completing, but 9 is kind of... is quite a difficult number. Because you're almost about to jump off and you're like, oh my God, look at all this. Oh my God, look at all this. Oh my God, I have to jump out of the tower. What's going on? So, wow, pile 1. It's not really easy. But you know you have to take this step. You know you have to move forward. You know this is what you need to do. You have to do it. You've got no choice. This is something that you have to do. Because if you don't, then you know that you may regret it. You know that maybe another 5 years will go past and you'll be like, wow, what am I doing? So let's pull some tarot for you, pile 1. What is pile 1 leaving behind? 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 Dear Spirit, what is pile 1 leaving behind? You're tripping over yourself, pile 1. 9 of Cups. This is a deep-seated wish. A deep-seated wish of something that you've always wanted. Always wanted, but the constraints of your daily life is holding you back massively. 7 of Swords. You've been fooling yourself with thinking that this is what you've wanted. Like, not the wish, what the daily life is, but actually what you're diving into is what you want. Interesting how that heart is, you've got here this pink, and the pink here, and the boat as well, which is kind of 6 of Swords vibes, but it's pink, and it's almost like this is the horizon, this is the wish, but actually the purple is kind of going towards like the reality that we've created for ourselves that have made us comfortable, what we believe we think we should do, you know? I did the quotation marks at the wrong point there, but never mind. We've got the Knight of Cups, we've got the 5 of Pentacles, and we've got the Ace of Wands. So the Ace of Wands to me says that when you go towards this, it's going to really enrich you. It's going to help you feel so much more alive than you had done before. You may find that you have like a lot more energy. I mean, it could be a job, but whatever it is, a job, I don't think it's in relation to... It could be to do with someone else, but I don't feel like it's a relationship. I feel like somebody may be leading you to this point. For those of you who are single, I feel like there may be a character that comes and they are able to inspire you in a way that kind of like lights your fire in a really sexual way, but it's not a sexual relationship. It kind of gives you the emotional triggering that makes you feel that you know, it makes you realize how alone that you've been by not listening to your desires. So once you get out of this little prison here, this also could be like the lure of, you know, your material reality as well. Because if things are safe and nice, then why would you want to move away from it, you know? But what I am getting is that I think it's important for you to move away from this. Not from the wish, to take the dive, to go into that deep ocean, to go into that space where the boat is calling you, to jump off of the threshold, to make the unconscious dreams conscious, or the subconscious dreams conscious even, because you know about them. And also it's, you know, I think this is more somebody that's going to show you that it's possible. This person may seem a bit like wet behind the ears. I think it's funny how they have shorts on and he's got like a top on like that. But And I've got this plant. I've just acquired this plant. I got gifted it, and it's on my table right now. I'm looking at it as we speak. And this plant is, you know, they say it's very difficult to grow. So it's almost like he's presenting you with an impossible problem. And you may be convincing yourself, interesting, with the same hair, you may be convincing yourself that this is not the right place, right time. You haven't got the resources. There are so many other factors that are here that are going to hinder your progress. So, yeah, you're doing a very good job of convincing yourself why you shouldn't do it. Very good. But there is this doorway that you need to walk through. And if you don't walk through it soon, you will regret it. There is a sense here of this Eight of Wands. You will be in a constant state of regretting it. Obviously, you know, when I give this advice, it's up to you. You know, free will is free will. You know, you do what you like. As my boss used to say, my old boss, do what you like, you will anyway. But, like, it's up to you. I'm saying it in the respect of, like, you know, seeing that you want to move beyond this, and you want to move from the Eight of Cups to the Nine of Cups, from the Seven of Swords to the Eight. Well, not even that. You want to get rid of these two. You don't want any of this. But this is kind of where you're residing right now. You're vacillating between this, and it's almost like somebody is providing you something. I do almost think, though, that this might be the person that's or the situation that is providing you with the material security, where you feel that where it's comfortable. But that comfortable is coming at a price. It's got a sense of isolation in that sense of comfort. So, you know, if you don't move outside of your comfort zone, which is through that door, from the threshold, out of the threshold, into the open, into here, where is the lake, where your heart resides, and embrace the Ace of Wands. Well, not even I don't even think you need to embrace the Ace of Wands, because the Ace of Wands will be realised once you continue on this. Because I don't think that you can truly understand the Ace of Wands until you're there, and then you're like, wow, I've got all of this energy and it's amazing. So that's what I'm seeing, pile 1. Let's see what your astrology is saying. Sarah's nurture. You have to nurture this wish. You can't think, oh yeah, I'm just going to do it and then bam. You know, you have to nurture it, because if you don't treat this, my meditation teacher says something similar. The main one, he's not with us anymore, but he says, like, when you start something, it's like a tiny little plant that grows. Like, it's a seed, and then it germinates, and then it grows. And then it's very small when you start, particularly if you, like, you know, do a lot of, like, work to kind of cultivate something. If you don't protect this little seedling from people who are watching what you're doing, they may be like the cattle that comes and eats the seed away, the little baby shoots, you know, of plants that could become big, wonderful, massive plants. So you need to really nurture this desire, this dream, whatever it is that you're walking away from and into. You need to like be quite determined in the respect of how you're stepping forward. Maybe go take something from the tale of Orpheus, where, you know, he was going to go and rescue his Eurydice. But Hades said to him that if he doesn't look back, you know, at Eurydice, then he will be able to leave the underworld with Eurydice. But he didn't believe it, and he looked back, and then he lost her forever. So it's about that sort of like kind of determination and understanding that you'll be cared for. It's also the determination of what you're doing. It really is. And I'm not going to lie, like, there is going to be some of this old patterning that's going to come back into play to stop you from actually taking it forward. And this is a normal thing. This happens all the time with everybody. You know, whenever somebody's kind of starting out with a goal or something like that, It happens all the time. So it's about you developing that muscle, developing the resilience that you need in order to move forward with that. Because, you know, it grows. It doesn't just arrive. People think that motivation just comes, like it just pops up like that. No, it comes and goes and ebbs and flows, and you need to be really resilient in that respect. So we've got here, regenerate your body, sapphire, and lighten up. Wow. Okay, cool. So interesting how we've got these blues here, and then we've also got this as well. We've got number 6, and then we've also got number 11, which is a master number. Sapphire connects you to the third eye chakra. Interesting how it says with regenerate your body. I'm just going to have a quick look in the book about what it says about sapphire and white. But what I get from these is that you need to connect to your body every time you start to feel that you are lacking in motivation. That is a clear sign for you to tell you what it is. When you hear those negative voices, thought forms, whatever they are, if you start to go into that space, get into your body, do something that is to do with your body. And with white, lighten up, I think, you know, when you kind of step away and kind of understand the joy of what it is that you're bringing into the world when you're when you're walking away from this thing and you're following your heart and going into this space, whatever it is that you're doing. Because I feel like it could be either a new job, a new venture. It could be with someone. I think it's like a venture that's going with someone, but I feel like there's naysayers. There's people that want to tell you that what you're doing is crazy, when actually, and also they're in the same kind of, they're mirroring the same kind of situation. They have their own dreams, desires that never came to fruition, and then they're projecting that onto you, I feel. So you're up against a lot. So what you need to do is, when you get into that space, when you see those people, when you're in contact with those people, when you hear those voices in your head that tell you that you can't do it, you need to go to your body and, you know, just remember, like, work out, whatever it is, go for a walk, something like that. Something that's going to stop you from being in your head and into your body. That's going to really help you. And that will help you to lighten up. That will help you to have like a lighter kind of approach to what you're doing and what you're walking away from, because it may be very daunting. It may be very intimidating. But yeah, for you to attain that kind of like lighter touch to it so that you can tap into this energy of the Ace of Wands, then, you know, you can flow as opposed to climb so much. Do you know what I mean? You want to flow down the river. You don't want to like be paddling hardcore, you know? So yeah, purity, purifying, getting rid of the toxins, you know, even going to the spa or something like that, something that's going to make you sweat, I think is going to be very good for you getting rid of anything that is going to be holding you back, you know, if you want to break these patterns. Okay, let's have a look at some shamanic support for you. So we've got divine timing. If you're thinking that this is too late with what's happening, no, it's not. This is exactly when it's supposed to be happening. Burden. Yeah. I don't know, I just feel like you do feel like you're burdened by the responsibilities that you have currently. And I think that it's up to you whether or not you need to... I get very 10 of Wands vibes with that. So with the 10 of Wands, you've got 2 clear messages. You either pick up the sticks and you continue, or you dash them. You get rid of them. So what is it that you're going to do? And I think that, you know, in the respect, and if you can't do either, you need to find a way that you can do both. But I think this is more in respect to whether or not you think that you're going to put your dream on the back burner, or whether or not you're actually going to go forward and take it up. Because, you know, sometimes, and I know I've got this as well, like when you believe that you've initially got an idea, that time was ripe for it, but you didn't take it forward because you had other priorities. And now that it's been so long, you haven't gone for it. You know, so many other people have done it. There are younger people out there that are doing it. There are so many other people that are doing it better. All the excuses that you want to come out with in order to say why you don't want to do something, or why you don't feel that you should come up with your idea or your whatever it is going to come out the woodwork. So it's about you being able to manage that burden. And look, it's that purple. So it's the in-between of that pink and that blue. So there's something about your heart, your throat, and your third eye, because we've got the sapphire, and something about there, about like kind of clearing those chakras as well. So let's see what Madame Endora has to say about this. Wow. So pile one. You've got no choice. You have to do this. You are destined to succeed. You have to do it, pile one. You have to do it. You have to do it. I'm so excited for you, pile one. I can't wait for you to tell me in the comments what it is that you're going to do. I'm really excited for you. Interesting, because we've got this like turquoisey color as well, which is the color of here, which says to me that you almost use the old patterning of your past in order to springboard into a new reality. Okay, a little bit of advice for you. Using dried herbs and spices in my kitchen, I formulate spell jars with the purpose of serving the highest good of all. So herbs and spices, if you work with herbs and spices, it's very good. You could even make yourself a talisman out of herbs and spices, like a little pouch. You could also, in your cooking, in anything that you kind of do, you can make it a ritual so that you can, you know, work towards this, you know. And if you find it hard integrating between your current lifestyle, which is this, into the new lifestyle that you want, into the dream that you want, try to integrate it slowly with this thing, like say herbs and spices or something like that. So for example, you know, if you want to invoke more dream time, so that you can like get more ideas in your dreams, all you have to do is just get some mugwort. And then you can like drink a mugwort tea before you go to bed, maybe with some lavender and some hops or something like that. Or like maybe you can, you know, meditate with some lavender essential oil. Lavender's really good. And I'm seeing this with the purple as well. It connects you to those higher chakras. Lavender is really good. So maybe that's something that you might need to, or might want to think about. But otherwise, pile one, I think that's your reading. That's all I've got for you today. Good luck with what you're walking away from. This is let me know how this is kind of like a plan of you to actually walk away from it, rather than me telling you exactly what it is that you're walking away from. But I think it's a dream. I think it's a desire that you really want. It's about something that's been calling your heart for a long time, and you need to step into this. Otherwise, you'll just always be regretting it. Something that you've had since you were young. So walk towards it. You will be successful in what you're doing. I promise. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you did like it, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe for more videos. Otherwise, I shall see you in the next reading, my loves. Bye. Pile 2, hello and welcome to your reading. You chose this Eight of Cups, which is from the Pulp Tarot. And we've got like a figure that is clearly making the move to walk away. Has already walked away, has already been in this process where they have put on their coat and they've gone on to another space. So you may be already walking away from this point. Something that held you quite dear, but you know that it's time to move on. And you know that this is kind of the only way that you will be able to move on. What's really interesting is that we've got like, I think it's a boat and we're walking towards water. So it might be you're moving towards something that is more emotionally, that gives you more emotionally, that helps you, that has more scope, has more kind of perspective, more terrain. Like something bigger, something better, something new. It does seem quite cold. in the respect that he is wearing a jacket, or this person is wearing a jacket and they have a hat. So there's a need for some kind of protection as well. But there is a sense of moving on from something that, like, these cups don't seem to hold a lot, whereas this kind of environment here that he's heading towards, this skyline, or that this character is heading towards, it holds a lot more potential. Okay, and let's see what patterning you're walking away. Oh wow, Cinderella magic. So what I get from here is the belief, despite something, and it's almost like you are going from a belief of what you thought you could have, and understanding the basic principles of law of attraction. Now, law of attraction is an interesting thing. It's not just about us thinking about what we want and then it just magically appears. It's about it's about putting yourself in a particular vibration of what you believe you deserve. If you feel that you only deserve a certain thing, then you will remain in that vibration forever. No matter how much kind of like thinking your way out of it is going to happen, it's not going to happen. I will say something for like, so when I've spoken to anybody who's emigrated from one country to another, which is something I really admire in people, they hold something that is very different to their friends and family who have stayed in the country of origin or in the country of where they've come from. They have a different mindset. They have a mindset that they believe that they can make a future in another place that isn't their own. Now, that's not to say that the people who they have, you know, that were their old friends and family who are in the space where they were before, who they've left behind, that's not to say that those people don't think that, but it's a different type of mindset to walk away from one space where you have everything and where you have this kind of, you know, where it's all right. It's all right. You know, you've got what you need, you know, you're not starving or whatever. But what's really interesting in this process of Cinderella, she really was subjected to something quite minimal. She was suffocated of her potential, and she had a time limit on it as well. Like there was a time limit with this clock here. So what I'm getting here is that this is a necessity for you to believe that you can achieve more, for you to continue on this path. I think you already are walking away from it, but there is like maybe a sense of like disbelief. There is a sense of like not believing that you might be able to do it. And you have to be consistent in your belief. And remember that that's not going to be consistent. It's something that you have to continue. It's like a workout, you know. I always liken it to a computer game where you have to keep on eating mushrooms or collecting coins in order to keep your bar up, your energy bar up. You know, and there are things that you're going to have to do that, because you are going into a space which is quite cutthroat. And this is like, you know, she's coming from something, but the thing is that you've got a good basis. You know, you've got the same thing as every other human being out there has got, and that's the ability to make something out of nothing, or to believe that they can make something out of whatever they have. Which actually is more congruent with this Cinderella tale, which is her making a coach out of the pumpkins, making horsemen out of the mice, and believing in that magic of the fairy godmother. I'm just going to double check if the book has anything else to say, and I'll be with you in a second. What's really interesting is that this particular picture is taken at the time when the clock strikes 12. So she has changed back, which I should have known really because the glass slipper is there. So she knows what the other side is. That's why this character is moving. They know that what they're leaving behind is nothing compared to what they're moving towards. But there are certain things that they're going to have to take responsibility for. They're going to have to like really think about what they're going to do, how they're going to do this. There has to be a game plan. So that's what I'm getting from you, pile 2. That's what you're moving away from. You're moving away from less into more. But you know that more equals more for you to put into it, more for you to consider, more for you to understand about yourself, more for you to embrace, but also there's other things as well. What is it that you're going to embrace? Pile 2. Can I have a card for pile 2? Just one card for pile 2. Thanatos. Oh, okay. $73, 10, and then we have a 9 here. I feel like it wasn't a great situation that you're walking away from, pile 2. I feel like it wasn't a great situation at all. I feel like it was quite a difficult situation. Particularly with the Cinderella and with this card. It's kind of saying to me that, you know that you have to move on, because otherwise it's just going to be this kind of consistent sense of poverty. You're just going to be accepting something that's like little drips. Wow, yeah, you're moving away from that into you're yeah. Wow, pile 2. You're moving away because you're desperately unhappy. You want to move away from that into happiness, into something that is more happy. I'm just going to double check what the meaning of Thanatos is. But from what I'm getting is it's almost like this kind of, it's almost like, I don't know, I'm just getting like being stuck in a web, being stuck in a space where it's almost like purgatory. And you know that nothing's going to improve if you stay within this space. So let me just double check. So there's a much deeper meaning here. You're embracing your truth. And it's almost like you have no choice but to walk into this space where you are having to go for this. Because if you don't, then you honestly don't know how you're going to cope. It's almost like a part of you has died, and now you're taking this walk into this space where you have to make something better for yourself. You have to take charge for your life and for what you're doing. Very deep, pile 2, very, very deep. These readings, I thought it was going to be quick, but no, they're quite deep. And I should have really known that, really, because the nature of this channel never has been easy and light and fluffy. Right, okay, so we've got 6th house, which is sustainability. And then we've also got 3rd house, which is communication. So you may not be able to tell people about what you're doing. You may not be able to communicate what you're doing because people might think that you're crazy. They might think that you're not. Yeah, you might not be able to tell them. For a whole heap of reasons. Whole host of reasons. Reasons that may be completely ridiculous. But it's what people around you are doing because they want to keep you in this space where you're small. But this has to die. This paradigm, this life, this stage has to die. You have to walk away from it. You have to let it go. This could be like, I mean, to be honest with you, what I'm seeing here is like I'm seeing a whole different lifestyle. I'm seeing a whole different life change. I'm seeing everything. Not just a paradigm in the respect of how you think, but also in how you feel and also how you do things, how you conduct your life. Because what you have done previously in your life has attributed to a sense of minimalism. And now you need to go towards a sense of expansion, a sense of something that is bigger, greater, something more luxurious. The term that comes here is like how the other half live. And sometimes you don't realize how unhappy you are until you see how happy other people are, you know? When you see how they're living their life, how they're doing things, how they live their life with a pure sense of authenticity, and you've been living within these little tiny cups as opposed to like living in the whole bowl of the world, you know? And that paradigm has to die. And that may be something that was built from an early age, and out of no, you know, this may be due to any kind of circumstance. It could be a whole heap of circumstances. If we look at the tale of Cinderella, you know, it's quite a dark tale, you know. So, you know, she was kept away from her potential intentionally. And, you know, a lot of us are in communities, families, places which hinder our growth in order to suppress us to be within a situation that is of more benefit to those who oppress us rather than to who we are. So it's very interesting how we can kind of move beyond that, and how you are moving beyond that. You are moving beyond that. With 6th house and sustainability, you have decided that you have what it takes. You may only have the coat on your back. You know, I get, you know, with Tina Turner, she had, you know, all she had was her name. That's all she wanted, her name. She didn't have anything else. That's all she had. She fought for her name, not for the whole thing that she created with Ike Turner. But she just had to have her name. And then she, you know, she became a multi-millionaire of her own making. So it's about that. You kind of know that you're taking the gems within yourself and moving forward, and you're plunging into the underworld. You're diving into there, in fact, regardless of what people are telling you. So we've got the King of Cups reversed. We got the 6 of Wands. We've got Temperance. You had to keep your emotions in check. You weren't allowed to. Communicate your emotions. You had to keep it all under wraps. And guess what? Because you've done that. Because you've kind of trained yourself in this way. You know, like Cinderella doing the work like she did when she was like in the kitchen. This is going to really help you. And what I'm seeing here is like small wins. It's small wins. You're not going to have like a big win, because it's small wins, because there's this big problem that you have to sort out, you know. And that's about how you manage your emotions. Because here it seems to me that there is an issue with that, you know. Sometimes the emotions can get... I've got a little bit of avoidance kind of strategy coming from this group. So there may be this sense of you like not like avoiding certain things. But that's fine, because this is going to work itself out eventually. And this may come again from patterning that may have happened when you were at home, or some kind of father figure that was around that was kind of maybe avoidant with their feelings. And you've learned this patterning. But something has awakened in you, in the respect that you know that you can't continue like that. And you have to move away from this situation. And it could be a toxic family situation as well. That's a possibility. That you need to move away from. And you've awoken to this. You might have been like allowing this for so long. And now you're like, no, I'm done with this. And with the 5 of Cups, it's almost like you've... And with it reversed, you have realized that actually what's worse is you staying in the situation rather than moving on, because you're so unhappy with this situation. It's like that thing I say sometimes about the rusty nail. Like, people can sit on a rusty nail for so long, and until it's painful, but it's not that painful that they need to move. But then it gets to a point where it starts to pierce, and then it starts to infect, and then there's an infection, and then it's so painful, like it grows to such a big pain that you have to move. And that's the time when people actually take action. So as opposed to like a little niggling kind of thing. So this is what's happened. It's gotten to a space where you have to do something. You have no choice but to take that dive because it's better than where you are already. Justice reversed. Yeah, it's a shit situation. Shit situation. And you may also find that when you go out there, that initially things may not work out, right? Things may not work out. You may be like, oh my God, what did I do? I had a situation before that was really good. Or not really good, sorry. I had a situation before that was at least better than what I'm doing now. But no. Yeah, you're doing the right thing. Absolutely. And you need to go forward with it. Like, you need to be confident. You need to just go for it. Sometimes you just need to go for it and then just see what you can do in terms of swimming in the water, you know. Sometimes we don't realize how much we can swim until, you know, we're in the water, and then we're like, oh sugar, we can actually swim. I can actually do this. Even if I doggy paddle, I don't have to be a champion Olympic swimmer. I can still swim. I can still keep myself afloat. It is hard, and I'm really scared, but I'm gonna do it. And I'll be honest with you, like this here is going to be kind of your like signposts, that it's going to be like, you know, okay, right, you're going to have to take account into the small wins that you do. So for example, if you move away from a situation where you were okay and you had that kind of stability, and I've faced this many times in my life where I've had like a very stable position and then I've had to like leave and take that jump, you know, and it may seem like it's a great position to those who are outside of it, but then when you're within the situation, your own mindset kind of like keeps you a prisoner. You know, like if we think about Cinderella, she had a home, she had a roof over her head, she had everything that she needed, but you know, she needed to believe. Like this character here doesn't look like they've got anything. They may not have anything, but they did have these cups. But where are they going? They would rather leave these cups behind because of the pain that they've got, rather than like, you know, stay there. And that's what this is about. And what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to just make sure that your small successes, the small things that you are good. So yeah, you may wake up one day, and at least I'm waking up one day. Small steps of gratitude. Small wins are going to be the key to you being able to kind of move forward through this. And it has to be Knight of Wands energy. Because if you think about it too much, like with Knight of Swords, you may not even do it. You know what I mean? Whereas like with Knight of Wands, you just go for it. And I remember that. Do you remember like when you were a teenager, there were things that you would do that you would never dream of doing now, right? A really funny meme that I saw was this guy, he was saying, and I don't advocate drug taking at all, I'm just saying this is a meme, but like when like, and I used to be a raver, I'm gonna like put it out there, and you know, when you take vitamins now, you're looking at the box and you're like, oh no, can I take this vitamin with this vitamin because I'm going to be taking it now? Given you probably will be taking it on a daily basis, so like if you are going to be taking a vitamin or something like that on a daily basis, then you are going to be like you might incur some kind of damage, because you know, if you take like a whole month of it or something, and it might, you know, contraindicate like another medication or whatever, that might cause you some damage. But the juxtaposition of that was that when you were like raving, when you were 20 years old, you would like, you know, when somebody would sell you a couple of pills or some substance, you just chuck it down your throat like without any question. And whereas like now you're, you know, with vitamins, you're seeing like in your 40s or whatever, or in your later years, you're looking with this more kind of, you know, you've got more discernment, more kind of fear about what you're putting into your body, but about what you're doing. So that long-winded story was essentially about you rekindling that sense of, you know, just going for it. Because things aren't going to be fair. You're not going to be able to see something. You're not going to be able to see how things are. Let's get you some colour support. You got two. You got amber. See? Awaken your creativity. This is about you going for it. And then you've got chocolate, nourish your body and soul, like that gorgeous chocolate kind of vibe. And so it's small pleasures. Chocolate, a chocolate bar, your favorite chocolate bar. That's not like, that's something, a small pleasure. And also, you know, nourishing your body. It doesn't cost anything to nourish your body, you know. It doesn't cost anything to you know, to do something nice for yourself, to say something nice to yourself, to give yourself nice affirmations that help you feel more grounded and that you're on the right path. Because there is going to be some times where you don't feel like you're on the right path, pile 2. You're going to be scared, but that's okay, because we all are at time to time. Let's see what shamanic advice we have for you. Look, honoring your energy. Because there's going to be peaks and troughs. This is the thing I see. And you have to know how your energy works, like when you leave this situation, so that you can kind of honor it in a really really good way, in a congruent way, in a way that's going to be yeah, congruent to your new lifestyle. So winds of change, your surroundings will undergo transition, but it did come up reversed. Some of the cards I've been reading reversed, some of I haven't. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I was getting this, like your surroundings will undergo transition. They will. I got that from that. But if they don't, I feel like they need to. I feel like they need to. I feel like the winds of change are knocking at your door, and they want to come through, and they want to blast away all the cobwebs of your past, and they want to give you the new things that you truly deserve. Now you may, as I said, you may be fearful. So when you're being fearful, there's that whole thing of like taking that 10% stretch of like outside your comfort zone. But you're ready, pile 2. You're so ready for it. And there is a sense of you having to just like push yourself out. Just go. Like that kind of thing. So, okay, just some advice for you going forward. Because there's a lot of advice here. This reading is advice on how... Oh, I got the card on how to use. So I didn't realise it had one of those in there. So here, I've got, at night I enter a deep spiritual sleep after counting my blessings and speaking affirmative words of loving kindness to myself. That's pretty clear, pile 2. Pretty clear for what you need to do and embrace these changes that are coming into your life. You may be someone, I know a friend of mine that has just moved from one country to another to do something really random. She wants to do this, but she's stuck in this place where it's like, you know, it's a new country, it's a new space, it's a new whatever. She's feeling, you know, so she's pooling her resources in how she, like, so that she doesn't feel so alone. And yeah, finding people that can help her, like myself, that can help her around this space, around this town, that can help her to go to places that might inspire her or whatever, you know, things like that, you know, understand your resources as well. So there is a lot of people that are doing these things. They are making taking big risks, making big changes to their lives that will encourage them to move into a better space, to make themselves more of what their purpose is meant to be, rather than staying within that small confined space of just being in that kind of, you know, the smallness of yourself. But anyway, my friends, I hope you enjoyed that reading. If you did like that reading, please do subscribe for more videos. But otherwise, I wish you all the best, my darlings. This is a big thing, you know, what we're walking away from. But I know you got this. Sending you a big hug, my darlings. Bye. Hello, pile 3, and welcome to your reading. This is your card, this 8 of Cups. You're moving on to something bigger, better, brighter. You know that what you're moving from is something that's so much better. It's an elevation upwards. You know that the road is not smooth. It's very much like a yellow brick road as well, but you know that you are moving on to bigger and better. It could be a moon, it could be a sun. I'm feeling like it could be a sun. I just feel this is my pile who know that they're moving towards, what they're moving towards. And what they're moving towards is something a lot better than what they are leaving behind. So with that being said, let's see what your programming is regarding this. Okay, the Princess and the Pea. Wow. Interesting. Sensitivity. Let me just look a bit more at this card, because I have... Yeah, let me just look at it. 1 second. So what I'm getting from this pile 3 is that you're different. You're someone who's different. You're different, and you're quite sensitive, if not very sensitive at the moment. And because of that, it's important that you recognize that, you know, people are not going to understand that. People are not going to get that about you. And this is why, you know, you may seem very kind of carefree to others. They may think that you are not kind of really considering everything. But really, I feel like you're protecting yourself in a way, because you know that you need to move on to something that is going to make you a lot happier, rather than staying in a situation which is toxic. And you're doing that because you're sensitive, whereas like other people can like tolerate it, so to speak. You know, people like just getting on and doing things. That old paradigm of like people just getting on and, you know, kind of getting on with stuff. And you're like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna change my situation, change my status, change what is going on, so that I can actually make something better for myself. And that risk that I'm taking enables me to strive for even more for my own happiness. So that's what's happening. Pile 3. The gem. Yeah. You know, a gem takes time to be polished and cut, and to get into a space where it actually reveals this beauty. Even though we have, like, say, for example, we have like this gem, which is like this kind of, which is very beautiful. This is rubellite, this is pink tourmaline. But if I was to like chop all of that away and to grind it down to like this part of it, I could make a beautiful like cut gemstone, and that takes time. You know, so in order to be able to be that gem that can assimilate itself in any situation that is like this kind of undergrowth, this underworld, you need to go out there and you need to get cut. You need to like have your edges like polished and trimmed. You need to do this because you know that experience is what's going to shape you. It's what's going to make you. It's what's going to help you kind of be more able to experience the life that you want to lead. So you're leaving a situation that you did not appreciate how sensitive you were, or maybe thought that you were too sensitive, and now you're going on to better things that are going to make you feel a lot better with who you are and what your life is. Interesting. Okay, so we have comfort and we have mystery. So as opposed to group 2, I feel that you actually feel more comfortable when you don't know what's going on. I think new experiences actually make you feel more comfortable. I could be wrong. And the norm would be the opposite. But I actually feel like discomfort actually makes you comfortable, because it almost like helps you to high tune into your sensitivity. Because I feel like you, group 3, you're like, you may be my psychic, clairaudient, clairsentient pile. This is clairsentience. So you are highly attuned to different situations, but there is a draw to you going out there and experiencing different things so that you can understand yourself better. Interesting, pile 3. I love it. Love it. So you're on a quest, it seems like. Pile 3, pile 3. What is pile 3 moving away from? The 10th house, authority. You need to find your destiny, pile 3. That's what you're going to go and do. You're going to go and find your destiny. Because this next step is about you finding your destiny. About you finding what it is that's going to make you stronger, that's going to make you in a position of authority. Because here, where you were before, you weren't in a position of authority. You weren't able to. You were dictated to by others. by forces around you. And you need to thrust yourself into a space of mystery so that you can start to develop your intuition. And that will actually help you to feel more comfortable within those situations once you do go back to those situations. For example, if you're moving out of town, you're going to another place, you're moving out, somewhere completely different. Even culturally, it could be different. But you really want this. You really want something different. I remember I watched Moonage Daydream, which is the film by David Bowie. And he said that he moved to Berlin because it was something so different and so alien from what he knew. And also language, like he could walk the street and he wasn't hassled. That was a really big factor in him moving to Berlin so that he could just get on and do his work. So I thought that was interesting. So it's similar kind of thing. That's what you're doing. Because you know that essentially this situation is going to make you happier, what you're moving away from. I mean, to be honest with you, on a general sense, that's with all the groups. But in the respect of this group, it seems to me like you really know that this is about your happiness and about what is going to make you shine. Whereas the other groups, it wasn't so clear. I was going to say clear cut, which is exactly as what we're saying with this gem. Also, you picked one of my favorite decks as well, so I'm glad. So you've got the Six of Wands reversed. And the Seven of Cups. So, yeah, this, you kind of are challenging some people's ideas of, like they think that you're being, like you're living in your head. This is a fantasy, what you're doing. Interesting going from the 7 to the 8. But what I see is that you're going to go and find out. You're finding out whether or not what's going on, because what you tried to do at home, you haven't been successful. It hasn't worked out. You may have tried to exercise this kind of stuff at home. You might have tried to be at home, but it's too much. It's too much. So the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, you felt like you were ostracized when you were at home. You didn't have the ability to be able to be yourself. And you felt like you had like some stability, but it definitely wasn't anything that could actually be something that, it's comfort, isn't it, at the end of the day? It's something very comforting, I feel. Bear with me 1 second, my love. Sorry, my darlings. What's interesting is that I'm feeling that because I get interrupted, I was interrupted twice now in your reading. And what I'm feeling is that you don't get a chance to be able to like say your piece. You don't get where you are currently. You can't do what you want. So you have to leave. Because if you don't, then you won't get a chance to do what you want to do. And it's almost like there's only so far that you can kind of dig where you are. And there is stuff that you can glean from where you are. You can almost do what you want to do going out where you are, but it's still quite stifling. Interesting how we go from the 5 to the 10. So it does say to me that there is stuff here that you could work with, but you want to go elsewhere. The Knight of Wands. This may have been quite a carefully considered approach. It may also be that people who are looking at your situation don't see it that way. They don't think that that's what you've done. They think actually that you're rushing through. Queen of Cups. Now, there are two things here. I either see that it's either you in the respect of how you are being, how you feel that you're not able to be in congruency with your emotions. Because it's almost like you think about your emotions a lot. Like it's almost like there's a sense of bottling it up. You have to move away. You have to gain some kind of perspective in order to like kind of sort out this Queen of Cups. This also could be with you know, maybe that there was a lack of emotional support back at home or back where you're leaving. And then the King of Pentacles. But there is some kind of stability. And I feel that you are taking the stable part of what your past was in order to move on. So what you're moving from is an emotionally devoid space into something that will help you to embrace your emotions and will welcome your emotions in a much better way. That won't castrate you for your sensitivity. That will allow you to reside in the comfort of who you are and be all right with who you are, you know. It's a very much, it's like you're discovering yourself and who you are. It's discovering your destiny. All of the readings have been like that, about discovering your destiny, because you're walking away from this thing. But what mainly is about something that was emotionally devoid. You weren't able to express yourself emotionally. So now you're polishing the gem. I get that saying from Rumi. If you, oh God, I'm going to butcher it. I'll try and find it and then I will say it back to you. 1 second. So the quote is if you are irritated by every rub, how will your mirror be polished? So if everything that rubs against you or cuts against you irritates you, how can you become this beautiful gem? How can you become this beautiful mirror that reflects things, that people can see the true forms of themselves in, if you are irritated by every rub? So beautiful. That's what I'm kind of getting from here. So this is a discovery of your emotional self, pile 3. Very interesting. I like it. I like it a lot. Perfect to go into this darkness, you know, this cold kind of, this space. Violet, create a balanced life. I do feel things are a bit unbalanced for you, pile 3. I feel like it's a bit like it swings from one end to the other, particularly with that kind of sensitivity. So this is about you being able to kind of balance that out for yourself. Yeah, let's see what shamanic advice there is for you. Letting go. Yeah, if we hold on to that sense of what we have, what we've left behind, you know, our history doesn't make us, you know. Our history isn't who we are. We just have to let it go, walk on. If you're going to do this action of where you're like moving on to this space where you're doing this, you know, you're leaving these cups behind, you need to be committed to it, right? Really do let it go. Really let it go. Okay, let's see what these cards have to say for you as well. The Spider, be meticulous and patient, and then it's reversed. Interesting, because then that's resonant with the, where is it, the Knight of Wands reversed. Be meticulous and patient, and it's reversed. But you're not. I don't see you being that way in this situation. I actually see you moving forward. You actually have to push forward. You're almost fighting this Knight of Wands energy. Because I think you need to create something that's more balanced so that you don't swing from one side to another. So it seems to me that, like, in the act of letting go, if you can just be balanced in that, so it's not like, oh, I'm going to let everything go and I'm going to, like, you know, abandon everything and everything of where I've come from. No, because where you've come from is somewhere quite stable, right? Or something that has provided some sense of stability. It just hasn't been that you've been successful within that space. So it's not about completely abandoning it. It's about building from it. Learning. I definitely get that from this here with the 5 and the 10. It's about you getting what you weren't successful in, and about using that to build your own 10 of Pentacles. But I tell you, Rome wasn't built in a day. So like, it's not like you're going to be able to do it straight away. And I feel like you do want that. You want to see results quick, fast. And that's gonna be an issue if you're gonna be in this highly sensitive state. You have to be quite careful of that. You know, you can't cut a gem in 2 minutes. You can't you can't cut a gem in 2 minutes. You have to wait. You have to take your time to be able to cut that gem. Okay, so let's get on and pull you one of these cards. Oh, you got 2. So when I see angel numbers 111, 222, 333, 444, 555, I'm reminded that I'm protected and guided by those on the earth plane and higher. So you've got guidance that is external, higher guides, and trusting my intuition comes easily to me as it fills me with the self-confidence that I need to be a spiritual master. So as I said, you're my clairaudient, clairsentient pile. You're the ones who kind of know, who understand this esoteric world. The advice I have for you here is that you are desperately and also so in tune with your intuition that it's, you know, it's off the charts. You're incredible, yeah, right? But there is a sense that there is a need for stability here. There is a need for stability here. We've got the 5 and the 10 of Pentacles. That's all good. And we do have the King of Pentacles here. So I wouldn't be surprised if you do have a benefactor, or you have somebody who is supporting you through this journey that is able to allow you to go and do this, right? But what I am saying is that there is a need for you to embody those things that you have got from your home, from where you have come from, from where you are moving from. You need to, there's aspects and characteristics that you need to take from there, particularly with the 10th house reversed. You know, you need to, you know, because you want to make this kind of clear, this clear name for yourself, where you're finding yourself being, you know, you're trying to put yourself out there. There has to be something that really gives you some stability, and you have to have faith in that stability. You can't have your head in the clouds all the time, particularly with the fact that you're sensitive, okay? You have to be grounded in some kind of reality. You have to, you know, keep on reiterating that. Because I see you like running off into the sunset. And I see you doing like amazing things, but I see there's this 5 where you're like, oh God, okay, right, so, you know, I'm trying this thing, I'm trying this thing, I'm trying this thing, but then when it comes to financial stability, it doesn't work out, but it's there, it's waiting for you. And particularly with this King of Pentacles here, you've got the really good cards for the Pentacles, but it's seeming that there isn't, you know, there's a sense of, you know, you may be fearful of it. I think you will achieve that, but I do think, like in terms of like stability, but I think you need to believe that as well. And there's also that imbalance, actually more so than whether or not you believe it. It's more about the imbalance of whether or not, you know, the focus. So if the focus is on your spiritual side and you just kind of gaining as much experience as you can, you need to kind of have it grounded, you know. It's not all a magical journey on the yellow brick road, you know. Dorothy came up with some challenges as she went on the yellow brick road, and you have to approach them with a sense of groundedness. So that's the advice that I have for you, pile 3. Interesting reading, your pile, but that's what you're moving away from and what you're moving into. You're moving into something amazing. All of you are. But I hope you like this reading. If you did enjoy this reading, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe for more videos. But otherwise, my darlings, you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.